What's up, guys? It is Dan from FightWave, and today I am privileged to be joined by somebody I'm very excited to speak with. Her second time on the FightWave platform, and somebody who I think made waves across Australian MMA with the announcement of her fight against Amina Hadaya, coming off a phenomenal performance at OKTAGON MMA over in Germany, if I remember correctly. Just a very exciting all-around talent, and somebody that I'm incredibly excited to see continue along in her professional mixed martial arts career. I'm joined by the juggernaut herself, Jacinta Austin. Jacinta, how are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good, thanks. Good to chat again.
Absolutely. And Jacinta, we were talking off air just about the way this fight came about and what a fight it is. I know you and Amina briefly early in your careers trained together for a little bit. But, talk to me just about the excitement of coming back to Australia after fulfilling a 3-fight contract with Octagon and coming over back to Australia and fighting for, a title that isn't put around very often, Eternal's vacant flyweight championship. So talk to me first and foremost about how you're feeling and the matchup with Amina at hand.
Yeah, pretty excited. I used to fight on Eternal. I had 3 fights with Eternal, in my early days. They're a great promotion. They're the best promotion in Australia. They have their title holds a lot of weight. It's very, like you said, not many people get to fight for it. The last champion we had was Casey O'Neill, who's obviously had an incredible run in the UFC. It is at flyweight, not strawweight. But I feel like right time, right opponent. Yeah, I'm super excited to be fighting back in Australia again.
No, yeah, definitely. And just the fight, for the flyweight championship, an exciting fight. Amina Hadaya, she's definitely got some momentum coming with a victory over Courtney Martin. And, you've got momentum coming over from Octagon. I wanted to ask you just about your experience fighting over at Octagon MMA because I think they've made a very big statement on the regional scene over in Europe. And, I've seen just nothing but good things spoken about them, the way that they handle themselves, the way that they're able to put on shows. It really does feel like you're fighting for a major promotion over in Europe. What was your experience like with them now that the contract has obviously been fulfilled and just, they come back to Australia and fighting here?
Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing promotion. The way they do everything is so professional. They're always looking out for the best interest of the athlete as well. From the moment you get there, everything's taken care of, everything's organized. And the actual production itself is incredible. The venues are incredible. You get large audiences, 10,000 people in the venue. So it's a huge stage and it's very popular over there. European MMA is huge over there. So yeah, I feel like it's up there with one of the best promotions in the world to fight on.
No, yeah, definitely. And just the way you mentioned the production, I feel like the way that they build up storylines has been unbelievable, where they'll take a fight that, is not necessarily one that could be easy to promote, and they'll promote it really nicely. And for your fights, especially, Jacinta, the way that they kind of subtly built up the momentum for your fights on both ends, their promotion team deserves a raise, definitely, and we definitely saw a lot of storylines converging throughout your 3 fights with Octagon. I wanted to talk to you just about your last fight because, Jacinta, elbows for good reason. I mean, my God, do you know how to make a fight a bloodbath? Talk to me just about the last fight, overcoming the loss to I think it was Katarina Delizda, if I remember correctly, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And then you fought Karolina Wojcik in your last fight with Octagon, and you made a statement, and things got a little not chippy on your end, but I know that she was definitely trying to get in your head at the weigh-ins, and you made her pay with a nasty, probably the nastiest gash that I have seen in a fight in recent memory. Talk to me just about the momentum of that fight, just being able to put on such a signature Jacinta Austin performance in that fight, and just being able to come back from what was a heartbreaking loss in the Catherine fight.
Yeah, when I lost that fight to Delista, was kind of like a little look into how it feels to lose it all. So it's a big motivation to come back and make a bit of a statement and remind people of who I am and what I can do. Carolina getting in my face at weigh-ins and being a bit of a character that she was, just kind of fired me up a bit more to show her, I'm not really the person you want to get in the face of. And as far as the elbows, her style was very much built around like pouncing, creating collisions. So a large part of our game plan was to meet that collision with the elbows and knees.
No, yeah, definitely. And just, a signature Jacinta Austin performance at that. We really saw, not necessarily improvements because you looked very polished in the Catherine fight, but also just being able to adjust, being able to improve and build upon those errors and being able to come back. What was the training camp like in between the Catherine fight to this fight? Did you come at it any differently, or what was the preparation like, or was it just the same preparation with a different mindset or outlook?
A lot of things in prep changed as far as like training partners, cornering changed as well. A few of the coaches in the camp changed. Head coach remained the same, but people we were working with got adjusted. And yeah, I just had more access to better training partners this time around as well. But I think the biggest thing more than anything was just intention, like having the last feeling what it was like to lose it all. Just lit like a little fire in me. More intention in every session, knowing what I want to do, and then when the fight came around, just being like, all right, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna make a spectacle of it. I'm gonna remind people like who I am and how violent I can be as well.
No, yeah, definitely. And there's an infamous photo, and I'll put it up on the screen right now in the post production. But the way that that elbow setup was, like you said, that she tries to create these head-on collisions, and you met her with the elbow was almost textbook. And the photo in and of itself is so crazy because you look at the post fight from OKTAGON, and you're splattered in blood. Just an insane visual for the fans at home. But were you? Are you that accustomed to being in the blood of your own opponents, or was this the first for you?
It's not the first for me. I've had a similar situation before where I've opened up my opponent with elbows, and ended up with quite a bit of blood on me. But yeah, that's what I aim to do. It feels very strange when you're in there. You feel extra warm because the warmth of the blood is a bit it's all over me. Not I've never had it to that extent before, but it added an extra I don't know, violent element to the fight. But I think yeah, if you look at my last 4 wins, the girls have either been cut or unconscious, and I want to keep going like that.
Definitely a violent approach to the fights and a juggernaut for good reason. You keep marching forward and meeting your opponents with aggression. And more importantly, Jacinta, you spoke to me off air just about the decision to come back to Australia for this fight. Ultimately, a great decision for your career, a decision that you feel will impact your career better in the long run. Talk to me just about a little bit about that decision from leaving Europe's mixed martial arts scene and coming over back to Australia.
Yeah, so the 3 fight contract had been fulfilled. There's the option to go back, and I'm not saying I would never go back, but the opportunity to fight in Australia, like I haven't fought here in a couple of years. So like once you take into consideration the 30-hour flight, the jet lag, arriving there only a couple of days beforehand, cutting weight, fighting the home girls all the time, and then having to wait for the turnaround as well. Like you're flying back and forth to Europe, so you're not gonna be brought back in the next like 6 weeks. Like it's gonna take a bit of time. So when we got back, we just kind of figured contracts up, what's available in Australia, and my coach had messaged Eternal and just to sort of suss out what was available. They gave us the name straight away. They offered us the title pretty much straight away. And I'm thrilled to fight in Australia. Like I would have kept fighting for Eternal the whole time if there was the depth of competition. OKTAGON gave me endless amounts of experienced opponents to test myself and to develop, which is what I couldn't find in Australia. Even this fight, I'm moving up a division to have a fight in Australia. The strawweight division there's next to nobody really that I haven't fought as well. So yeah, OKTAGON was amazing, but I'm not gonna, give up, turn down the opportunity to fight in my backyard in Sydney, friends, family, title, why not?
Absolutely, just overall from a convenience standpoint as well, the jet lag of a 30-hour flight, let's just say not kind to the faint of heart. But also, just
Yeah.
on top of that, yeah, we talk about the competition pool in Australia, and on the women's mixed martial arts front, it's definitely improved a bit since we last spoke. There's been a little bit more names that have been added into the pro bracket, but still, like you said, like there wasn't enough competition then, and it feels like almost there isn't now because you've fought some of the biggest names in Australia from the very get go of your pro career. And one thing I wanted to mention was just how far the women right now in Australia have gone, because you look at how many moving parts there are from women who were fighting on the regional scene in Australia to now. You look at Chelsea Hacken in the PFL regular season tournament. Obviously, you've got the gals in the UFC, the Casey O'Neill and then Jessica Rose Clark until she took up boxing recently, if I remember correctly. But also, you and Amina headlining a card in Australia for the vacant flyweight championship. And then just recently, Lisa Kiriakou announced that she'll be fighting on the road to UFC, your former foe. Her debut was you. There's a lot of moving parts, I feel like, for the women, and it's a testament to how hard you guys work as individuals and how far you guys have come in this sport thus far. What does it mean for you when you see former foes and opponents and also other female Australian MMA fighters making it to these high points in MMA? How does that motivate you and also make you excited for the future of the sport in Australia?
Yeah, super happy for everyone that's gone on to a bigger promotion. All the names that you mentioned, they're all good fighters. They've all done a lot for the sport. Yeah, I'm excited. I'd like to see a lot more on the local scene. It's still hard to come by a female fight at a pro event. But yeah, happy for all those girls. I think it shows that the levels rising. And yeah, I'm just happy we have more Australian representation out there, because we've always had like all the guys leading Australian MMA. But apart from the Casey O'Neills and the Jessica Rose Clark, we didn't have many. We have more now, so that's hopefully that keeps building as well.
No, yeah, definitely. And just to add on, just to mention one of the names, Chelsea Hacken. I know you went up to Brisbane recently and you trained at the Fight Center for a little bit. What was that experience like? Just being able to get quality rounds with what is, in my opinion, one of the best up and coming, female fighters out of Australia right now.
Yeah, that was good. It was real fun. I was up there for a fight night to watch one of my teammates. And I felt guilty being away from home and not training, so I decided to make a sparring day out of it. Yeah, she was great to work with. I don't get to work with many girls at all. I worked with Amina a couple times, but nothing recent. I'd say at least 12 months ago was the last time. But moving with another high level girl, also with quite an extensive striking background, was yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. And you mentioned just your training regimen. You're very disciplined, as evidenced by the skill set that you present to the in the octagon, and also just based on what we see from your story. You're always training. You're always staying active. And one thing I love to highlight on FightWave and just through our outlet is the people that help the fighters through every facet of their career. And one person that I've really been in awe of, just in terms of his commitment to the fight game and what he's been able to do alongside you, is actually your head coach, Alex, from Coast MMA. And I wanted to ask you just the significance of what it's been like for you to have him alongside you in your career, be able to get that hands-on, one-on-one treatment, and be able to really see your game take a whole nother life and a whole nother level training with him as long as you have.
Yeah, he's a very, very special kind of coach, that one. We talk about up and coming fighters all the time. But as far as up and coming coaches, I think Alex is going to take the cake with that one. He's very, very unique coach, very intelligent. And I think that a lot of my success really comes down to his game planning and enthusiasm. If you see my commitment to training, he's probably double that, his commitment to coaching. And yeah, we've built a team of fighters. I mentioned earlier, I've got more training partners now. We've really built a little MMA team at our gym. A lot of flyweights, a lot of bantamweight boys. So as far as like gyms that are coming up and coaches that are coming up, he's definitely one to watch.
No, yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned just the quality of training partners improving as the gym has slowly and steadily grown. And Jacinta, one thing I want to highlight is just the experience that you have, because we spoke about the experience that you got fighting the girls from OKTAGON MMA. Just some of those girls having an extensive amount of fights on their record. They fought some really high quality opponents, and it feels like in Australia, when it comes to experience, few and far between can rival the experience that Jacinta Austin has throughout her professional mixed martial arts career. You look at this fight with Amina, a win here could propel you towards something even bigger. And I think we have a really unique opportunity to see not one, but two female Australian fighters headline at or not headline, but make their debuts at UFC 305. It is really potentially really unique opportunity. What would it mean for you with the win over Amina to fight and make your UFC debut in Perth at UFC 305? How would that excite you, just in terms of finally making it to the coveted big show?
I think that that would be everything. That's how I believe my story goes. I remember a couple of years ago when UFC came to, I don't think it was Sydney, but I think it was Perth. And I so desperately wanted to be on that, but I realized in hindsight, like, it was premature. You weren't ready. You need to do your time. I believe I've done my time now. I believe the experience level of the girls I've fought and beaten says a lot. And I believe the fact that, I've fought and beaten people that have been on Contender Series, that are going on road to UFC, that, this is my opportunity. This is my time now. So yeah, I'm going to capitalize on that and see where we end up after this fight. But I really think at 7-2 and fighting the girls that I have fought, it's my opportunity now, my turn.
Definitely, and you couldn't write a better story like this one, quite literally. We've seen time and time again the amount of fighters that have fought on Eternal 1 and made their UFC debut a couple of months later. And Jacinta, I want to thank you so much for the quick opportunity for the chat. And it's always a privilege to speak with you, given just what you've displayed in the octagon. Your resilience, your grit, your hard work and dedication for this sport truly doesn't go unnoticed. And I want to ask you, just on one final note, we talk about your goals for fighting, and that's been made evidently clear. A win here, you can make a really strong case for a juggernaut debut at UFC 305 in Perth, Australia. But more on a personal level, what are some personal goals that you have, maybe from a brand perspective, or from a personal perspective? What's Jacinta Austin's goals for 2024, and what's the message to the supporters at home?
As far as personal goals, look, I don't really have much that I'm aiming to get towards besides my fight career at the moment. I've really doubled down on it 100%. I've moved again closer to the gym in my own little apartment, so I can really just double down and focus on training. I'm also doing a lot of teaching at the gym now, developing the kids and teens MMA program. Enjoying that quite a lot. So yeah, all my eggs are in this basket of this next fight, of making it to the UFC. And that's what I've decided this year. 100% of my time is going into that. I want to give it everything. So at least I know, like, one day, like, I really just doubled down and gave myself the best opportunity.
No, yeah, absolutely. And, Jacinta, thank you so much for your time. To the fans at home watching, if you guys are looking for a phenomenal fight to watch next month, look no further than Amina Hedaya versus Jacinta Austin for the vacant Eternal Flyweight Championship on May 24th. It's going to be a fight card to remember. It's the start of, if I remember correctly, there's also a 4-fight Grand Prix happening for the Eternal Featherweight Championship that begins on that night. It's a card to remember, headlined by two amazing female fighters. Do be sure to check it out. I will be linking the Eternal MMA website in the description down below, and it's on UFC Fight Pass for those of you guys stateside. It's been me, Dan, from FightWave. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the interview. Do be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day, guys.